Just want to say thank you guys for coming, especially those that I've never been before. So thank you guys, for the invitation. But some of you that don't come to this church and just came because I invited you guys, it means a lot. The crew, the team, appreciate you guys, man. It just means a lot to be invited. Anytime you're invited to just share your heart anywhere, to me it's a big deal, man, because you're being entrusted with God's people, and to me it's like. I was just telling Andy back there earlier, I was like, dude, I'm nervous. You know what I'm saying? And I've had a chance to speak in large crowds, but it's always like the smaller, more intimate crowds where you tend to get nervous. And I'm just like, man. So, when Abraham reached out, we're, talking about, man, what are we going to do? What do you want me to talk about? I was like, man, just come and encourage the body, and just come and encourage the church, and encourage those that are complacent. And to get up and do something, and kind of let them know the kind of the stuff that you've been doing in the community and the neighborhood, and God's called you to do, and just kind of and encourage and be that supporter. And so okay, cool, I can do that. That's the easy part, So a little bit about me, real quick. My name is Ruben Torres. I'm from here. South San Diego is my stomping grounds. My background is in the entertainment industry, and spent 20-something years chasing people around with cameras and just doing all kinds of cool, wild, crazy stuff with different bands, toured with some of the biggest names in the music business, and have some wild and crazy stories. Some I can talk about, some I can't and won't. But to me, I was, I'm from South San Diego, and I didn't graduate high school. I was born in Tijuana. I didn't know what was wrong with me most of my life, but I'm a little dyslexic. And so, but I never knew, I never spoke up about it just because it was like, I see numbers differently, whatever it is. But, I just kept it to myself and whatever it was. But I always knew about God. I grew up Catholic. Anybody else grew up Catholic? Yeah. So you always know, it's embedded. It's embedded in you, So to me, I've always had that reverence, and I've always, my mom got me in there to be an altar boy, me and my older brother. And so, I didn't get all of it. I didn't understand how all of it went. And I had a lot of questions. And my neighbor down the street, this wild man, he used to do dope and sell dope. And we used to see him just run around like crazy. And then all of a sudden he got saved. And then I was like, dude, this transformation is crazy, because we know who you are. And to see who you were and to see who you are now, it was just amazing. So, I grew up with his son 2 doors down, and he always played the drums in the garage, and it was just something we would always go and hang out, and growing up, we would, be over there, and you would smell something funny in the air, and you're just like, what is that, and you would see some piles of powder, and you're just like, what is it? And so we grew up, with all this crazy stuff, and then when he got saved, it was like domino effect with his family and everybody else. And so when I seen his transformation, I was like, oh man, the Jesus that I feel that I thought I knew, it's a little different than that Jesus, and that seems a little more real. I want some of that, And so he would take us to youth group, and we're still, little, knuckleheads running around doing our thing. And so, grew up with these guys, and we're all knuckleheads. And his son ended up giving his life to the Lord, and he kind of led us all to. It was kind of domino effect with all of us. And so. So I said, man, one day I'm gonna be doing what these guys are doing. I want to walk with the Lord just like these guys are doing it. And so in 1995, I decided to hey man, I'm gonna switch up my life a little bit and kind of go this way. During that time, before I was doing all that, in our neighborhood, I grew up off of Palm Avenue. We call it the South Town. It's a little 92154, little they just call it South San Diego. It's like, well, what is that little? It's between Chula Vista and San Ysidro. It's a little weird little pocket that's there. And so we were all there. And when you're there, it's kind of like, you have a choice. Like, you're going to go join a gang, or you're going to sell dope, or what are you going to do? So some of us dabbled in, selling dope. And some of us, a couple of my friends ended up in prison, and I dabbled in it. My older brother, he was kind of like the Scarface of San Diego, and I was sitting there like, man, everybody looks up to their older brother, and I looked up to my older brother. So I started dabbling in some of the stuff, and I was like, okay, cool. I was never a big time, cartel guy or whatever. Like he was all involved in all this. I was never, I didn't get in that deep, but God pulled me out just in time, and so thank you. And so, thank you, brother. I'm over here getting cotton mouth. I was about to take yours. I was like, let me get a drink. Let me get a drink. Appreciate that. But so I'm sitting here like, hey, you know what? I told my brother, I'm going to go ahead and do this Christian thing. I'm going to give my life to the Lord. And he didn't get it at the time. No, whatever. So I sat back and I was like, no, really, I need to get out of this. And I know I've been doing. So I used to go around different states with suitcases full of dope. And this is pre 9/11, so you can get away with all kinds of stuff back then. So I used to line the sides with carbon paper, and all my friends had tattoos everywhere, all tattoo covered. But I was always the clean cut guy. And so, so these guys, they would use me to go, hey man, go send this or go pick up money or go do. So I was all over, Washington, Colorado, San Francisco, New York, doing all this crazy stuff that, I was just being sent out to do. And then came a time where I was like, no, I'm gonna do what these guys do. I'm gonna follow the Lord. So I went to my brother and I told him, dude, I want out, I'm done. If it's cool, let me just step away. And I was doing this for a couple guys. I was like, well, what are you talking about being Christian? What do you mean? Like, we don't do that kind of stuff. Like, you already know too much, the routes, all this stuff. Anyway, so God pulled me out, and I was supposed to do one more trip to New York City for my brother. And I was like, dude, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Sorry, man, but I'm done. He ended up sending this lady instead of me, and the lady got caught. That was supposed to be me. So it was just kind of a confirmation. I was, all right, I know what I'm going to do now. So stepped away, and at the time there was a band that was forming, and I was helping them out and working with them. It's a local band called POD from right here. Some of you guys may know them, maybe. And so I grew up with the singer and the drummer, and I was able to help them out and help build their record label and travel and do all kinds of cool stuff with them. And they were pretty heavy in the Christian industry, and I was just learning it all, and so I was learning God could use anybody, right? What's the Bible say? God uses the foolish. Oh, that's me. I'm the foolish. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, all right, well, I'm not in the spotlight. I did try rapping at some point, and don't ask me to do it because I won't. But I did try, and I was wasn't that great, but I had some cool opportunities, did some cool stuff. But I started realizing, man, I want to do some stuff behind the scenes, and I don't need the spotlight. I'm down to do some stuff behind the scenes. And even this is a little, I'm not the spotlight dude, and some of you guys that know me, I try to kind of interact more about the actions. I want people to see our actions and see what we're doing and encourage people that way, right? Some of us need to do more about your actions and not about the, right? So I was always taught, always preach the gospel, sometimes use words, right? Right? So it's, man, shut your mouth, do the actions, and that's when people know. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna be behind the scenes and be the encourager. And so when I spoke to Abraham, and I was like, man, what do what are you guys in a series? What are you guys doing? What do you need me to speak about? And he was like, man, just encourage. And then when you said that earlier about just complacency, I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I had somebody. I'll fast forward and I'll cut out a bunch of stuff. But right now, I'm currently working for Dr. Morris Cirillo. Some of you guys may know who he is. So I don't even know. Pastor Pedro, I'm like, I'm creative director, I don't know, but I'm supposed to be booking stuff, some of the stuff that's coming into the new Legacy Center. You guys got to come check it out. But anyway, so I'm working for him, and he's got a lot of people that come in from all over the world that come in, and some of these people, you don't know them, you don't know where they're from and what they're about, but they come up to you and they start speaking to you, and some of them just give you a word, and some of the stuff lands, and you're just like, wow, what is this? So this guy came up and he just said, hey, you're I don't know you, I don't know what you do here, but you got the spirit of Barnabas, like there's a little Barnabas about you. And I was like, okay, cool, I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna go research that and check that out. And then when we spoke about encouragement, Barnabas was an encourager, right? So he wasn't like a big name in the Bible. He wasn't like, he was kind of tucked away, and him, with he was helping out Paul, and so he's kind of like sprinkled throughout. And sometimes we need to be that person that's sprinkled throughout and not be the people in the spotlight, right?
Amen. Come on now.
So Paul wrote a couple letters to Thessalonians, and he talked about being faithful and holy living. I'm going to jump into this real quick in 1 Thessalonians 5:9-11. If you guys got your Bibles, you can check through. Most of the people are on your phones now. You can just do that. For God has not destined us for wrath, but for obtaining salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us, so that whether we are awake or asleep, we will live together with him. Therefore, encourage one another and build up one another, just as you also are doing. And so to me, I was like, dude, this is perfect with all the stuff that we're talking about. And, I'll rewind it back because sometimes we need those seeds planted in our life, and sometimes we need that kick in the butt to get us going and do some stuff, right?